Welcome back. Well, thousands of protesters have gathered in cities across the United States and Europe to denounce Donald Trump and Elon Musk's policies. Branded the hands of protest, rallies have been held in 1,400 locations, including Washington, D.C., Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, London, Berlin, Paris, and Rome. Protesters cited the grievances with Trump and Musk's agenda, ranging from social to economic issues, claiming that their freedom is at stake, and the demonstrators have slammed the recent federal layoffs, deportations, and tariffs. Organizers say that they have three demands. Firstly, they say that they want an end to the free hand given to Musk to downsize the U.S. government. Protesters have also called for an end to the slashing of federal funds for Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs in the U.S. And last but not the least, planners have demanded an end to the deportations as well. According to Indivisible, one of the organizations leading the movement in collaboration, nearly 600,000 people had signed up to attend these events. And the White House released a statement defending Trump's position, saying he would continue to protect programs such as Medicare and Social Security for eligible beneficiaries. And the statement pointed to Democrats as a threat. Let's talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, also with us on the show. Purnima Nath, Republican leader, joins us on the program as well. Last but by no means the least, Dr. Dheeraj Kaul, geopolitical expert. He's joining us all the way from the United States as well. Professor Nalapat, how do you look at these protests? Is this a palpable sign that there could be problems for Donald Trump and the way he has been governing for the past couple of months? Obviously, internationally, there is this big jolt about tariffs, which has shaken up economies as well. Experts have warned that a recession is forthcoming as a result of what Donald Trump has said. But do you think there are problems internally brewing in the Americas, in the United States as well, because of how Donald Trump has gone about his business and his proximity to Elon Musk as well, something that the Democrats have also warned about when it comes to oligarchs?
Look, the fact of the matter is that Elon Musk has made the mistake of his life by getting so closely associated in public with President Trump. It's never a very high formula for success for very successful businessmen to link up with politicians in power. Is never a good idea, quite frankly. And I think Elon Musk is going to pay a very heavy price for it. I'm sure there are going to be investigations. For example, the DOGE, they have accessed so much of sensitive data without Musk getting any security clearance and without anybody in Doge getting any clearance whatsoever. In fact, some of them are barely into their first or second jobs working for Doge. So, quite frankly, I want to ask you something, Vineet. Let's say that you are an expert car driver. You can drive a Ferrari, you can drive a Maserati, you can drive any kind of car beautifully at high speed in the most difficult, terrain, a Jeep or whatever. Can you pilot an aircraft? No. Elon Musk is like a superb car driver who is now suddenly put behind the wheel, in effect, as the co-pilot of an aircraft. The US government is a huge, complex machine. Yes, Tesla is huge, it's complex, it's been a success, but the reality is nothing like the US government. It's as different as a motor vehicle is from an aircraft. So I think, frankly, Trump has made a mistake by relying so closely on Musk and tariffs. They've been way too broad. They hit friend and foe alike. And as a consequence, you're storing up geopolitical mistakes to the benefit of your enemies, primarily China, and slashing at social security programs. I'm sure this is one of Elon Musk's key recommendations, is absurd, because when you have people on Social Security and you suddenly, cut that, they begin to panic. And when they begin to panic, they hit the streets. So very frankly, Vineet, I think I had said long back that it was a question of either Vivek Ramaswamy and Musk, or just Ramaswamy and Trump. I mean, and Musk got rid of Ramaswamy, Vivek Ramaswamy, despite his talent and whatever. He got rid of him. In the same way now, Trump is now going to face a question. Is it going to be you that is now sliding downhill along with Musk? Or are you going to abandon Musk? And I personally feel, being a shrewd businessman, my instinct tells me Trump is going to understand that Musk has now become a liability and jettison him before it's too late. Well, after a point, Trump is going to lose the midterms for the Republican Party. And then he won't be able to carry out any of these agenda items, and they could reverse a lot of them. So the reality of the situation is Trump is near that decision point. It's either Elon Musk going from his, and may I point out, his cabinet members are very unhappy. Here is a man who is not sworn to secrecy and all kinds of things, and basically accessing all kinds of data and basically trying to supervise over them. They're all upset about it. So I think a head of steam is building up in the Republican Party, in the Trump's own cabinet, and I think President Trump will be well advised to ensure that Elon Musk goes back to the company he ran so successfully, but it is now starting to nosedive as a consequence of his involvement in politics, which is Tesla. Thank you, Vinny.
All right, fair point. Ambassador Mukherjee, how do you look at this? Just perhaps resistance to these unusual changes that have been brought about, which may settle down, or the beginning of something which could eventually spell trouble for Donald Trump?
Well, when I looked at the number of protesters today across the United States, we in India, we have a different perspective on figures. It's at 600,000, which means 6 lakhs. So for India, that's peanuts, 600,000 protesters. Maybe it's a lot for the West, not in India. But that is not the point. The point is, what they were protesting about is what the President of the United States needs to reflect upon. Because his measures are not going in the direction of making America great again, MAGA, because in a globalized world where he has weaponized tariffs, they are going to come all the way back to destroy him. Because European Union and China, between themselves, if they impose huge tariffs and if they also deny to the United States raw materials which it requires for its highly sophisticated industries, US is going to take a huge hit. And if he takes away the livelihoods of so many people who are lower middle class, demand will plummet and will push the United States economy into recession for the first time in decades, which is going to impact United States and the midterms, as Professor Nalapat pointed out. Moreover, the rich and super rich are also saying that this wholesale deportation of people who've been there for decades and who have serviced industries which have made people like Trump very wealthy, working in hotels, working in restaurants, cleaning the streets, cleaning the toilets, all kinds of stuff that the American people don't want to do. It's been done for decades by these people who have come in as immigrants and have worked there for decades. You're going to clear them all out, but you have very expensive labor. And you have people who, they say they have no caste system. United States has a huge caste system. I've lived in New York City for 3 years, and I used to be told that there's no caste system like in India. The caste system begins when you can call your boss by his first name, but the next day he has the right to throw you out without compensation. So what is that but a caste system? That's a caste system. So he is actually ending up antagonizing his core voter base also. all of them are not super rich. He has come to power also because the depressed part of the United States, represented by his vice president, wanted him in power. But if you bring down, as he calls, all the fat cats of Wall Street, you're going to bring down your own economy. And finally, I would say that I agree with the assessment about Elon Musk, but both Elon Musk and the president, as recently as 3 days ago, said that the president said he's doing a great job, but he needs to go back because he has a huge business, he needs to run his business. That's typical Trump style. And Elon Musk has himself said he's going back. So I think that problem will be sorted out very soon. After it's sorted out, will he take the advice of sane voices in his administration, experienced people, etc.? Because the United States cannot govern without a structure. That's the big mistake that United States made when it went into Iraq and completely demolished all Saddam's administrative structures, army, police, etc. And Iraq was left in anarchy for years. Now in United States, there is a huge structure which keeps the United States going as the world's largest and most important country. He cannot just simply end up by demolishing that structure, because in that demolition, he will be doing huge damage to the US states, and he will 100% lose the midterms, after which it's all over for him. So I think he needs to do some deep reflection, needs to do it on his own, and he needs to stop setting such a bad example to the world that, for instance, when our Prime Minister Modi went, I remember that there was Prime Minister Modi and our Indian delegation on one side, and there was Elon Musk with his present, I presume, fourth or fifth wife, 5 or 6 children, and 2 nannies sitting on the left side. Is that how are you going to give impression to the world? This is how you do business with the Prime Minister of India. You are sending Elon Musk with his 4th wife, 4 children, and 2 nannies. It gives a terrible impression of the United States. So he really needs to set all this right, because otherwise, I'm very sorry, he is ending up by not only making a fool of himself, he is actually setting up the United States to be laughed at and ridiculed by the whole world. Everybody is laughing at US, and he has antagonized very long-term allies with whom the Western alliance functioned and kept the world out of a World War III.
Right, ma'am.
Goes in this direction, we are in very, very big trouble. Beneath.
Absolutely. Valid points, ma'am. Purnima Nath, Republican leader, also with us on the show. Purnima Nath, well, you know, Donald Trump did make a very resounding and thumping comeback, but you know, if you look at the approval ratings which have been furnished, in fact, just yesterday, there are declining trends coming in. Would you be worried about that?
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Your panelist as well. I totally appreciate their opinions as well. I'll give you a couple of things over here quickly. Listen, from a perspective of market and from a perspective of consumer confidence, volatility is not appreciated. I understand that, and that's why market is actually reacting in such a way. I understand President Donald Trump is a visionary president. It's not his. He didn't start this tariff war per se. This whole situation of United States having 38 trillion of debt over here, and then US dollar being de-dollarizing, and there is a situation that President Trump also said that he's going to impose 150% tariff on BRICS nations specifically. Now, if you look at from his agenda, what the issues of United States that we as a common people are facing is immigration is an issue, and massive frauds that's happening, whether it's asylum, refugees, whether it is just coming through the border and marrying, fraudulent marrying and obtaining green card and etc. There's no other country which is getting abused such like that. If you look at our industries over here, it's almost dead. The auto industries, Detroit is known for that. It has become a crime city at this point of time. If you look at the steel city that we had in Gary, Indiana, literally a couple of hours from my house, it is a dead city. If you go over there, you will actually get scared going through that area. But my point over here is that we are going through issues. Yes, our inflation is not going to be relieved quickly, and it has this volatility. There's no clear picture at this point of time. It is not just also the government agencies or the jobs are getting targeted. However, the private sector is also getting targeted because they're also going to lay off, and there are issues like that's going to happen. Now, I'll address a few things that your previous panelist has spoken about. First of all, Madam spoken about deportation. Our immigration is a pathetic situation over here. If you are sending the illegal immigrants, and especially the ones who has actually committed crimes over here, and violent ones, to tell you the truth, and these deportations was our lives have been endangered by that, and American citizens were killed by the goons that came from elsewhere and illegally, and taking over literally apartment buildings and terrorizing the area. Now, let me go to the corruption and the jobs cut that is happening. But the truth is there are corruption. Sir earlier said that the social security is being cut. No, people are getting scared for social security. I'll tell you, there are 20 million fraud that has happened in this country. Over 120 people year old are being collecting social security check. How many 300-year-old is alive in this country or in the world wide? So this corruption that is we have seen, whether it's through US aid or social security checks that has gone through. Now other departments are we haven't even touched, whether it's a Department of Education and elsewhere, but we are seeing issues over here, and US aid that is going to different countries.
Okay,
It's
I get your point.
actually
I hear you. All right, let me also open Dheeraj into this conversation. Dheeraj, where do you stand on this? Are these worrying trends for you, or do you think it's completely justified for Donald Trump to do what he's doing at this point in time? I completely concur with Ambassador Mukherjee that 6 lakh may not be a big number for us. That's probably the number of people that live in my neighborhood, but for the Americans, it's a huge number.
Namaskar, thank you for having me on the show, and so nice to connect back with you, Vineet, and so nice to see all your esteemed panelists. I actually want to agree with a lot of things said right now here, and coming straight to your question. See, I work as a biotech analyst also, so I'm very well connected to the Wall Street, and I'm a physician, as you know, so I talk to, and I have a keen interest in understanding how the society works here. Like, first of all, addressing what Ms. Nath said, she is right on money. First of all, few things. So I'm right now in state of Pennsylvania. I have a place in New York, so I go back and forth. But Pennsylvania was the key swing state. So you do have to understand quality job was a key agenda. Quality jobs, not any jobs, not an engineer working as an Uber driver, but quality jobs was a key agenda. Mean average income of American household, $64,000. Getting a car and a house has become a distant dream. People have been working 2 shifts, 2 family members for a decade now, cannot afford a car, a house, or basic necessities. People are having a hard time paying even co-pays of Medicare. I have so many patients who are 65, 70, they can't even afford their rejection med. I'm a transplant physician. You can lose an organ because of this, which costs $150,000. Number 2, illegal immigration was a real-time big issue. People were seeing that their hard work, earned money, which is paid in taxes, is going to put people, hundreds and hundreds of thousands, millions of people getting placed in hotels, paying $150 a day for each person. Our schools were turned into shelters. This is real phenomena. Our hospitals getting overwhelmed, elective surgeries getting cancelled. This was hitting a core voter base, not only of Republican, mind you, but people who live in swing states as Pennsylvania and even places in Florida, Oregon, you name it. Even in New York City, where I come from, Bronx, a hardcore Democrat area, had a very high spike in Republican votes as of now. You can check the records. So I have done so many shows on this. So this is real phenomena. This is nothing. But having said that, there is another concern which is brewing now for the same voters who voted Trump. Is he taking too many moves at the same time for public to tolerate it? Number one, see S&P, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq together have lost $5 trillion with the word T in 2 days. Confidence in consumer confidence is an all-time low. We had a job numbers on Friday, which was 280,000. New jobs are added, which is 145,000 more. So the facts are saying that the jobs were added more, but still the market has crashed. Two reasons. One of them is uncertainty. Markets don't like uncertainty. We don't know what's going on. Why am I bringing this up? Because every single tax-paying American, almost all of them invest in the market through 401k. People's 401k have disappeared from 25%. You can ask Ms. Nath to 30% in the last 2 days. It's one of the biggest debacle since 2020 COVID times. So is it concerning core vote base of Republican? Yes. But are they getting ready to bear with this hard winds? That is true as well. Having said that, do you know since tariffs are announced, $7 trillion are promised to be reinvested? Jobs prospect in my own state of Pennsylvania, 150,000 new jobs are coming in drilling area as well. Do you know the tariffs itself will bring US economy $654 billion? It will cost the company $654 billion in 1 year plus 300. So $934 billion it will cost top US companies, which is Apple, Nike. Now the question is, am I ready to pay?
That's good that you're making a case. That's good that you're making a case for Donald Trump. But the fact of the matter is, Professor Nalapat, he did mention the T word, which is $5 trillion. That's more than the size of the Indian economy, Professor Nalapat. And if this trend continues, then it's more than just voter faith being eroded.
Fact of the matter is, all that my American friends are saying is correct, but they're looking, one big issue they're forgetting, that Trump is levying tariffs on friend and foe alike.
Correct.
He's not differentiating between them, with the result that friends like EU are being hit. Even India has been hit, although we have been very restrained in our comment. At the same time, of course, China has been hit. But when you hit everybody, there's no damage to your foes. That's the problem. And so I'd like to point out that it's perfectly all right to ensure that I'm told there are people on the US, Social Security payrolls who are past 200 years old. Forget 100, 120, well past 200, which is an absurdity. And this kind of thing is wonderful. Everybody would support that. Every, decent American, irrespective of party, would support that. But the fact is, Elon Musk has been responsible only to himself. Donald Trump is responsible to voters